Part 4, guys. Today we're going to give it our all and try to finish this video off. If not, we're going to get a part 5. And you can bet your ass I'm going to throw some extra shit in there. So without further ado, let's get into my top 4. Now these movies really push the boundaries of Marvel and really change the formula for these movies. And I honestly really like these movies and enjoyed them. I've watched most of these movies multiple times and I've enjoyed them on every viewing. Alright? So, let's get into it. I'm gonna let this guitar riff play out because I like this part. You guys know my thing for music. Alright, let's get into it. Number 4. It's Thor Ragnarok, baby! Woo! This movie was great. I was 16 when I saw this movie. It was awesome. I'm 18. It's still fucking awesome. I don't get people who don't like this movie. They're the people who are like, oh, the emotional parts are undercut by the humor. Shut the fuck up and laugh, alright? Have some fun. Be more like me. Or be like you, but like, funnier. God! First off, bad stuff. Hella, okay villain. I don't hate her. Cate Blanchett makes her interesting. But really, besides her performance, the character's flat and I don't really care. I'm not invested in her at all. Also, the Asgard stuff is boring. Yeah, the stuff on Asgard just looks bleak and shit and it's just kind of ugly to look at. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Now let's get into the good shit. Taika Waititi and making Thor a great character. Taika Waititi took Thor in a different direction. Instead of like the other movies where everybody else around Thor is dead and Thor's got to fix it, in this movie it knocks Thor down a few pegs and it makes him have to like be smart and be creative and it makes him have to realize who or his true power, I guess. Are you the god of hammers? I can't do British, guys. Anyways, that was great. I loved how Taika Waititi kind of deconstructed this character to make him have to overcome something in this movie. So Thor actually has a great arc, unlike a lot of some of these movies. And Thor didn't have a great arc in the first one or the second one, and then this movie, they totally flipped that shit and were like, let's give him a great arc. And Taika was like, fuck yeah. And I was just like, oh my god, finally, finally. Also, this movie's got a great cast. You got Jeff Goldblum, Tessa Thompson, Taika Waititi as Korg. He's hilarious. Tom Hiddleston is great as always as Loki. Anthony Hopkins is okay as Odin. He's not in it for much. Chris Hemsworth, he really shines as Thor. I love Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk and Bruce Banner. That was really entertaining. I do like that. This movie's got a great cast, okay? Carl Urban feels out of place in this movie. So does Zach Levi, you know. Know what I mean? Like, he feels out of place, alright? Let's just be honest with ourselves. Also, this movie begins Loki's redemption arc. See, the thing about Loki is, in this movie, he kind of changed. See, he's fine with his brother loving or hating him, but the problem is he is not okay with his brother being indifferent. When his brother doesn't care, it kind of irks him, and he's just kind of like, huh, what? It really, like, shakes his character, and he starts to rethink certain stuff, and we see him go through this redemption arc by the end of the movie, and it's great to see. We really watch it play out naturally, and Tom Hiddleston is great in the role, so he sells it naturally. Also, this is a good change for both characters and the franchise. This franchise was kind of like, does it really have anything to offer? Then this movie came out, shocked everybody, and proved that this franchise has something to bring to the table, okay? It's not just fantasy movies. These movies can be fun. They can get weird with it. And I think Taika is directly responsible for that because he injected that weirdness into this film, which made it great. I love the scenes on Sakaar. Sakaar's so colorful and just weird that it's a interesting place to explore. Compared to the scenes on Asgard, Sakaar is much better, and I like it much, much more. Also, this movie has epic action. Oh my god, the fights in this movie are huge. We get to see Thor and the Hulk fight each other. That's amazing, guys. You gotta admit, that's fucking amazing, the fact that we get to see those two dudes brawl on screen. Two just titans of power, you know? It was awesome. And Thor goes fucking Super Saiyan in this movie. Now, not as like, he doesn't go full like Odin Force mode like he does in fucking, you know, Infinity War and Endgame, but this dude goes full fucking Super Saiyan here, and he just starts shooting lightning out of everywhere and fucking people up. Thor is literally Take Heath. Thor is Take Heath. If you don't get the reference, get the fuck out of here. Also, I love Hulk in this movie. Hulk's a great character. They really spend time to develop him and show the relationship between Banner and the Hulk, which is one of the most interesting concepts of the Hulk because he is this Jekyll and Hyde character. And you know, it's really interesting character study at times, and some of the scenes with the Hulk and Banner is great. I love it. I love it, honestly. They do a great job with most of the stuff they do in this film because it's handled well. It's handled by people who actually want to bring something new to the character instead of pumping out the same old garbage and getting it checked, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, you could tell people cared about making this film, and that's what I love about it. Also, as I said, this movie gets really weird with it, and I love that shit. I love the color palette of this movie and how bright and colorful it is at times. It's very aesthetic, I think. I don't know the right word, guys. It's pleasing to my eyes, okay? I also like the original soundtrack. As you can tell, I like the song choice in this movie. Like I said, Jeff Goldblum is masterful. I think he needs a lot of credit for this movie because he makes it very funny. And honestly, guys, this is just a great movie. I have nothing else to say. Now, let's get into number 3, baby. Now, this movie is probably one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's even one of my favorite comic book movies and one of my most enjoyable movies. Like, one of the most rewatchable movies. Like, seriously. And it is Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Holy shit. The only bad stuff in this movie is Peggy. I think bringing Peggy back ruins the ending of the first one, but hey, that's just me. But this movie introduced us to the Russos, the men who would be handling not only a movie in my top 10, a movie in my top 5, and then my 2 favorite movies on this list. So, what the fuck? These dudes are great. I love that this movie brought them into the universe and that they got to oversee Phase 3, because Phase 3 was really great for Marvel, and I honestly think Phase 3 was the strongest of any phase. Don't try to at me. Anyways, but they oversaw it and it was great. Also, this movie made Cap a more interesting character, you know? Before, he was just kind of, you know, basic, you know? It was kind of black and white ideology with him, you know? Americans are good, Nazis are bad. But what the Russos do is they throw him into this world where it's not so just black and white. There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of bad people on one side and there's a lot of bad people on Cap's side. He's got to figure out who's who. And that's a great scenario for this character because it challenges his moral code, which is great because they set that up well in the first movie, and this movie comes in directly after it, challenging that code. Also, the dialogue is great, and Steve Rogers, guys, in Civil War and this movie is just one sassy bitch. Listen to his comebacks and shit. Steve Rogers at full sass mode, guys. I love Chris Evans in these movies. He fucking kills it. He fucking kills it every time. He is the perfect actor to do Captain America, and I don't think anybody else could do him justice. I want to see Anthony Mackie's interpretation, but I just don't think it'll be up to the level of Chris Evans, and he should have tried to do it the same as Chris Evans. He should make it his own character so that it can feel unique for the audience. But Chris Evans is great in this movie. I love him. I loved him in Civil War, and I loved him in half of Captain America the First Avenger. Captain America the First Avenger, that first half is probably my favorite performance, but this movie, it edges it out barely. Because the script in this movie, you know what it is, guys? It's fucking fantastic. The dialogue is great, and it adds to the story without feeling like exposition dumpings. Everything flows in a natural progression, and this doesn't feel like, you know, like military talk or like no one else would get it. But it actually makes sense and you understand what's going on most of the time, and it services the plot well. So honestly, guys, the script in this movie, it's great. Also, this movie, it's got Robert Redford in it. You guys know, I like me some Robert Redford. Great Gatsby, yo? Y'all remember that shit? Anyways, Robert Redford really adds this regal sense, to the movie. Kind of this presence, he has more gravitas because, he's a respected actor, he's a great actor. Everybody knows who he is, so it kind of like elevates this movie a little bit. And Robert Redford gives a terrific performance. He's a very good villain, He's convinced, At no point does he think his ideology is wrong. At no point does he misjudge himself. And that's great because the best villains are the ones who truly believe what they're doing is right. The Joker. I'm not saying Robert Redford's Alexander Pierce is on the same level as Joker. I'm just saying it's a good villain. Also, let's talk about Bucky. Bucky in this movie, even though he's not in it for much, is great. We really get a lot of emotion from a dude who's just been brainwashed, and all these memories are flooding back to him. It's great. Honestly, this movie is great. And I like Bucky as a character in this movie because we really see him trying to pull through. Because you remember Steve on the bridge and then they do the mind wipe. And then that line, because I'm with you till the end of the line, just kind of brings the memories back. And it's just like, oh, fuck. Cap, no, you didn't. You're not about to make me cry, are you? You're gonna make me cry, asshole. God, I almost bawled in that scene, man. I was fucking 14 when I watched this because it came out on HBO in 2015. I couldn't see this in theaters. I had shit to do, I guess. I should have went and seen this movie. This is like the only one I didn't see in theaters, guys. And this movie was one of the best. Also, the movie's got a good story, honestly. The plot is great in this movie. It's simple, so the audience never gets lost. But it's at least, not too dumb. It makes sense. And it's actually, really well thought out and executed in this movie. And that's why I think there's a problem with some other Marvel movies. The execution of the story is just dog shit. But this movie's got great writing, great direction. It's got great actors who play convincing characters. Honestly, let's get into the characters. I'm not going to start with Captain America. We're going to get to him last. We're going to start with Black Widow. I like her in this movie. We learn more about her, and honestly, we get to see her and Steve kind of develop a relationship with each other that we haven't seen any of these characters really build before. And it's really nice to see, It's really nice to see the camaraderie between these two and how they want to work together, I really love that relationship in this film. It's a good relationship, and I like that they don't try to make it sexual or anything. They just make it like they're friends and they're going to look out for each other. I honestly appreciate that about this film, and I think they did Black Widow well, and Scarlett Johansson does a pretty good job in this movie. Another performance I like in this movie, trying to think. Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury. I like him. I don't know about the whole bringing him back from the dead. That I get why they did it, but at the same time, it would have had more emotional impact if he stayed dead. But hey, that's just me, guys. You can like it however you like it, alright? I'm just a random dude on the internet saying random shit, alright? I'm saying random shit, okay? I've already talked about Robert Redford. We've already talked about Sebastian Stan and Bucky Barnes. I talked about them in pretty good detail. We're going to talk about Cap now. Cap's a great character in this movie. Oh, wait. Shit, no, we're not talking about Cap. We're talking about Falcon. I like Falcon. He's good. He's someone for Cap to play off of in a good and natural way. And honestly, I like how the relationship starts with the opening scene with Cap just lapping Sam. That's pretty funny, guys. I laugh at that scene, alright, guys? It's a good scene, alright? And honestly, guys, Cap is such a great character. I love Captain America in this movie. He's the best character, and that's how it should be. Honestly. We see him go through so much in this movie, yet he holds on to his morals. He holds on to his ideals. And I love that about the character. He has to go through something in this movie. He has an arc. Do you know how many of these movies have the hero go through nothing? So many of them. But this movie develops his character adequately because the Russos knew what they were doing. And I love them for that. This movie's also got kick-ass action, guys. The action scenes in this movie are awesome. The hand-to-hand sequences are amazing. Cap murders a bunch of fucking people on a boat, and it's awesome. He also murders a bunch of people with his shield when he's deflecting bullets from a minigun. It's just great. It's so awesome. It's so awesome. I love watching it. Honestly, it's just great. Also, just overall, this movie kicks ass. It's a great movie. If you're looking for a good time and a great action movie, but also kind of like a spy thriller, this is the movie I would recommend to you. 10 out of 10. I love this movie. Thor Ragnarok, 9 out of 10. Guardians of the Galaxy, 9 out of 10. GOTG 2, 9 out of 10. Iron Man 3, 8 out of 10. Iron Man, 8 out of 10. They differ by, decimals, but, we're not going to get into that. Now, number 2, guys. It's a personal favorite, alright? It's just, I gotta have it in here. If it's not near the top of my list, I'm really kidding myself. I'll give you 5 seconds. Yes, children, we are talking about The Avengers. Only bad thing about this movie is the lighting. It looks like a TV movie, but otherwise, holy fuck, this movie was awesome! Oh my god! This movie was just a huge payoff. We had been paying to go see these characters for, like 4 years now. We were like, oh, is this gonna lead to anything? And it looked like it was leading to something. And honestly, when it got to that thing, it delivered in full force. And I was just sitting in the theater as an 11-year-old going, holy shit, this was the coolest fucking thing I had ever seen. I was in the theater at the age of 11, ready to lose my shit. Because this movie was just like, oh my god, it was my childhood dream fulfilled. Okay, I was becoming a teenager. I was gonna have to become edgy and hit puberty and all that dumb shit. But this movie was just like, fuck! Like, I can't tell you how many times I have just lost my shit over this movie. It is that good. It is that good. I'm not even joking with you. I'm not joking with you. It's just so great. This movie has so many iconic scenes. My personal favorite is the I'm Always Angry scene when Hulk punches the Leviathan to a standstill. Then the Avengers just all circle around. We get a fucking wide shot of them all. And it's just like, what? Like, we had never seen a team up of this size before. And honestly, it was amazing, okay? It was amazing. It was amazing, okay? It was just like, holy shit, we have never seen this before. We have never seen this before, and we may never, ever see it done again this well. Like, are you getting what I'm saying? That's how great this movie is. Also, this movie has one of the most iconic themes in all of cinematic history. You're telling me people don't instantly recognize the Avengers theme with how many people watch these movies? People know that shit. I know that shit. I hum it in my fucking head when I'm doing tests to make myself feel powerful, and then I realize, Tyrin, you're still a dumbass. Yeah, guys, I'm dumb. Also, this movie has great chemistry within the heroes. Honestly, the heroes have good chemistry with each other, and these are all pretty great actors, and they're like A-listers at this point. Maybe not Chris Hemsworth yet, but, they're pretty, sizable talents. And they all have such great chemistry in this movie. They all play off each other well. Also, what I like in this movie is Whedon's writing is excellent, and it establishes conflict amongst the characters. Throughout the whole movie, the big thing is that they cannot work together. They have so much conflict with each other, and so many individual problems and petty squabbles with each other, that they can't come together as a team, but in the end, they have to come together as a team for the greater good. And I think that's great, because all the characters have to go through something to get to that point, to where they're amicably working together for the greater good. Also, this movie has a great villain in Loki. Loki's a great villain, guys. You can't tell me otherwise. As Kanye said, you can't really tell me nothing, right? God, can't tell me nothing, alright? Haha. Can't tell me nothing. Give me a second, ad's playing, guys. Anyways, Loki's a great villain. He's developed well. He has charisma. He has a presence on screen. It's great. Tom Hiddleston is amazing in the role. You can't even convince me otherwise that he's not good. Like, honestly, he's great in this movie. He's great in this movie, okay? Also, this movie's got amazing action. Holy shit, guys, the action in this movie's awesome. When the Avengers are fighting the Avengers, or when the Avengers are fighting a bunch of fucking aliens, it's cool. It's cool as fuck, honestly. You can see the Hulk smash the shit out of people. You can see him just go fucking... It's amazing, guys. You see Iron Man and Captain America teaming up, doing, like, team-up attacks. It was crazy. It was crazy. You see Hulk ripping off a piece of the Leviathan skin and stabbing it with it, and then Thor hitting it with the hammer. Those scenes are fucking awesome! Oh god, those scenes are great. Those scenes are great. But also, one great thing about this movie is it is probably the most significant comic book movie of all time. To this date, I know everybody's gonna say, what about Endgame, Tyrin? Don't get me wrong, Endgame is smashing records, but the reason it's able to smash these records is because this movie was done so well. And because people really liked this movie. Because people enjoyed it. People wanted to go see this movie. People wanted to see more of these characters. People were hyped. This movie made like a fucking $1 billion. It was crazy. Everybody and their mom went to go see this movie. Me and my dad went opening weekend 3D. And I remember me and my dad were losing our collective shit in the theater because we were huge fucking MCU nerds, okay? This movie is probably the most significant comic book movie of all time. And you will never be able to convince me otherwise because without this movie, we don't get these other great movies, okay? The only one before this that was really great, in my opinion, was Iron Man. But this movie trumps Iron Man because of how it was able to be a massive stepping stone in the success of this universe, okay? And on that note, we're done today. Part 5 coming out tomorrow. I'm sorry, guys. My Infinity Saga review is way too long. It is literally going to take me, like, probably 20 minutes to go through all of it. And then we're going to try to throw in a little 5-minute segment where we go through the Stan Lee cameos and we rank them. Okay, guys? I'm sorry I couldn't, finish it up today. But I promise I'm going to finish it up tomorrow, okay? I'm going to work my ass off, alright? So, peace.